Hey, it's Sid from the Ari and Sid Show. Are you following us on Instagram yet? Be sure to follow the Ari and Sid Show for behind the scenes content, live shows, and more. Now, here's today's episode.
Welcome to the Ari and Sid Show. This is another episode. We are on 10. I'm Ari.
And I'm Sid. We're forever friends, and this is the shit we care about.
I like that voice.
Thank you.
Use that for the whole episode.
Okay.
On any given day, you know the drill if you're a returning listener, but we talk way too much. No, I'm just kidding. But we have conversations. We have conversations about some meaningful shit, and sometimes it's not so meaningful. And so this show is our opportunity to come together once a week and spread some awareness, learn from one another, and talk outside of our text thread.
Yes, ma'am. So as always, if you hear some shit you agree with and you want to stay connected or help make some change as well, any useful information that we provide will be shared in the show notes. And of course, you can keep up with us on our social media pages.
Word. So now that is out of the way, let's get into this shit.
It is. I'm sorry. It's December 13th, so we're 12 days away from Christmas. I love Christmas. Just FYI, everyone.
We are, which is crazy because you know what I learned? So I was gonna do this whole social media thing for my job account and like 12 days of Christmas, right? Apparently, historically, like way back when like Christmas wasn't really celebrated, 12 Days of Christmas was actually started on Christmas and lasted for 12 days.
Oh.
Yeah, which is crazy because, like, apparently that was how they celebrated. So, like, each thing of the 12 Days of Christmas, you know, song is basically an ode to Christianity. So, like, they all represent, like, faith and family and all those things and values that are in Christianity. So I thought that was pretty interesting when I was diving down that rabbit hole.
That is interesting. I don't know shit about that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've heard that song, of course, but I couldn't recite it for you right now and tell you all the different 12 things. Honestly, I think those are one of those things, like, you know how like when you're a kid, you know stuff, but you don't really know what you're saying, but you just know it because of repetition. That's one of those things.
Yeah, like, I had to sing that song. Back in, what grade was I in? I had to be in like third grade. We had choir, or it was music then. They didn't have it, like in elementary school, it wasn't broken down into like the specialties. So we had music and we sang for our Christmas concert, you know, 5 golden rings. And like, you know, we're up there on those pew things and it was, So I know that song. I don't know every day or whatever either anymore, but I do know like, you know.
When I think, sometimes I think, so of course, like a lot of the times when I think about Christmas, I think about like family and things like that and what we did as a kid. But when I think about like friendship and Christmas or like Christmas time and friendship, of course, like last week you talked about how like we used to go to like Glendale Glitters and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
My, like, a memory that recently popped in my head about like Christmas time and friendship is, I think it was like the first like winter break I had after I moved out to DC when I went to Howard. First winter break I came home, like we had like planned with our friends like a bunch of stuff to do, right? And we were gonna go do all this shit. And I think like one day we were supposed to go like ice skating and like we ended up in Vegas. Do you remember that?
Oh shit. I do remember that.
We were like, yeah, we're going to go ice skating this day and we're going to go do this. And then like that morning, and it was like maybe like a day or two after I like landed, And I was somewhere with my dad, and we were all in the group chat, and we were like, yeah, let's talk about ice skating. And then we're like, let's just go to Vegas tonight. And you're like, yep, hotel's already booked.
Yeah, that was wild times.
Oh my God.
I forgot that was during Christmas. I remember though, because it was cold as shit in Vegas, and we didn't know,
Nope.
we packed those Vegas dresses, and
we packed for Vegas.
That was back when we could do a turnaround trip in nothing. You know what I mean? Because literally we were only there for one night. We packed into that small ass hotel room because I got a deal.
Yep.
But the deal wasn't for like a room with 2 beds. Oh wow.
Oh man. Yeah. And I remember like it was literally turnaround. Like the next morning we were back in the car on the way back home.
Mm-hmm. So tiring.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, fun. Like now I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, that was fun. But shit, I could probably not do that again. Oh, maybe. Right. Who knows? I might still got it, Who knows? Another memory that I have during Christmas time is, and I don't know if you still have yours, but when we were all on the basketball team, and we used to have our little Powerpuff Girl squad. Remember that?
Yeah.
And like all of us went and bought those wooden flowers. I think I still have my wooden flower.
God,
which is crazy.
Have that? Wow. Yeah, I definitely remember them, and we all got different colors and they all smell different. I definitely don't have it no more, but I had it for a while because I can remember like having it like in my dorm room at ASU and think, oh, good times.
Mm-hmm.
Good times. So, all right, we're about to get into some shit. So today, our topic is, are you a Jane of all trades or are you a master of one?
Yes.
This is a fun topic, I think. I think this is really cool to think about. Like first of all, when I started thinking about the topic, I was like, wow, like, I think I'm this. And then I was like, maybe not. And I think I even told you, like, I was kind of like jotting down my notes. And then I realized like I was writing a fucking personal essay. Like this was not supposed to be that reflective, Sydney. Like, what are you doing?
Submit it for an op-ed later.
But I do like this topic a lot. So I want to, maybe let's start off by like sharing, like, what do you think, what's your definition of like a Jane of all trades?
Yeah, to me, a Jane of all trades is someone who's good at doing things really well, but nothing that's like super, super specific and like they don't have a true specialty.
Got you. So
I was thinking about this too, or maybe they do have a specialty, but they don't spend, because you could have something that you're really, really good at, but you don't have the time to do it. So by default, you're Jane of all trades because you're good at doing multiple things, but you don't really have enough time because of whatever. So you spend time doing your specialty less.
I hear that.
What about you?
Yeah, so I hear that. And like I said, I was like going back and forth to being like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Or like, what, and where do I fit in, right? But I agree. Like, I think a Jane of all trades would be someone where, I guess in this situation, someone who identifies as a woman, because we're using Jane and not Jack. But Jane would be someone who is very good at a large number of things instead of focusing all their energy on one and quote unquote mastering one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I don't know. I guess we can jump into like how I definitely want to jump into like how one that would identify with this, right? Because so I like first started thinking, I was like, okay, I think I'm a master of one. Because when I think about like, I don't know, like people, I guess I do a lot of things, right? Like I'm a doula and I have like my own business and I'm a social worker and we have our podcast, right? And those feel like a bunch of different things. But like sometimes when I think about it, it's like at the end of the day, though, my intention and the reason I do it and my purpose is because I care about people. And so like in my head, I'm like, oh, like you're a master of one. And that one thing is you care about people, which is like, okay. And I just care about people in a lot of different ways. But then does that make me a Jane of all trades? Because I can care about people in many different capacities, right? So like, I'm like, okay, well, but so maybe I'm a Jane of all trades, and it's more about like making progress with a bunch of different things rather than perfecting or being a perfectionist at one thing. And in me making progress with all those things, like I'm doing that with each thing at their own pace, I guess I can say. Like I'm not like progressing in all these things at the same pace.
Yeah. So I could definitely see you being someone who your skill is caring about people, and you're working towards that in different ways. I definitely could see that. Especially like, I mean, we both worked for nonprofits for a very long time, but you, I feel like, worked for them longer. I feel like also because your specialty at some point became social work, right? Because you went for an MSW, and then finding ways to use that in your other skills kind of makes you a Jane of all trades, but it's not all different things. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's such a abstract question, because if I was to say, just speaking like black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I think of a Jane of all trades, let's use the word artist, right?
Okay.
So let's say the word is artist, and I feel like sometimes people lean towards using that as I'm an artist, because they're good at so many things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe they're good at painting, but they can also sing, and they can also write, and they can also do this. And no one of those things is their true passion. Like if they were to become famous, it could be off of any of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if you take the word artist and you narrow it down, maybe the master of one is a painter. Like I'm going to paint Van Gogh,
Yeah.
And cause those type of painters really like slept in their art studios and like lived in them basically, and they were truly dedicated to being painters. And that's amazing. It's a beautiful thing to have one thing. But I also would say, I think you also pigeonhole yourself when you pick something and like, but it's not ever a bad thing. I just think like if you were to ever decide, one thing I always go back to is when I was in college, I was so afraid of picking a degree that I was going to have to be stuck with. And not that that's like, I mean, I was in college, so that's really, looking back like 7 years ago, that's dumb. But I was going to become a teacher at one point. And then as I started like keep going back, I'm like, oh my gosh, well, what if I decide I don't want to be a teacher anymore? Do I have to start all the way over, And those are those are like the epiphanies or like the life altering decisions I was making at whatever age I was, thinking that I was going to be stuck with those. So all that to say, I definitely think I'm a Jane of all trades. I do write poetry, but it's not something that like I only focus on, And if I was being really, really honest, I only focus on it when I have the brain space to focus on it and like sit down and write about it. I have goals that I want to achieve with it, but it's just one of those things, I'm also good at building stuff and crafting and, I'm good at math, but I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm a mathematician.
Right, yeah.
So that's what I identify most with, is a Jane of all trades.
Yeah. I felt that when, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because you mentioned like not wanting to pigeonhole yourself. And that was something that I think that's why I kept going back and forth too. Cause like, I was like, well, I want to, even if I don't feel like I'm a Jane of all trades right now, like I want to give myself permission to be Jane, like at some point, because I always want to give myself permission to like go and do other things or find things that I could potentially be good at. Right. Like I guess like when I was thinking about this too, I was like, dang, like the only reason I'm not good at some of these things, or the only reasons that I like quote unquote can't do these things yet, is because I haven't tried, right? I like I'm really, really planning on buying myself a guitar. Like I'm sticking to that. Like I tweeted it because I want to like hold myself accountable, you know? And like I was thinking like the only reason I don't know how to play a guitar right now is because I don't have one. I haven't practiced, right? Because like it's not about perfectionism, it's about progress. And if I start, you know, playing a guitar in 2 weeks, I'm gonna know at least something more than I know right now about playing a guitar. And if I played the damn guitar, whether it was good or bad, I played the guitar. So like, you know what I'm saying? So I can say that I play the guitar and I'm learning to play the guitar. So like really like sitting in a space of like, there's not like, it's not things that I'm like, that I can't do, you know, it's things that I just haven't tried yet. But definitely leaving myself the space to be Jane whenever I feel like it, and like adding new things to my skill set, whether it's for hobby or for profession.
I also think that our generation, and also the one after us, Gen Z or Y or whatever they are, no shade, but I really just don't know. I don't know. I can't keep track. But anyways, we also like had to have more than one thing. I feel like it's hard. You know, you couldn't just be good at grades when we were applying to college. Well, actually, kind of. I feel like the younger you are nowadays, like the more pressure it was to be like more than just an academic student. You had to also be involved in sports
and in the community, in the because club, you know, colleges love a well-rounded resume.
Right. And not customer service, community service, and all those different outside things that really have nothing to do with your ability to be an educated student, which is what college is about, but whatever. So in a sense, you're kind of conditioned to not be a master of one.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've seen certain things on the internet, on the interweb. I feel so old saying that. But that's where we get our information, right? I've seen certain things pop up about how being a master of none is better. It's not better, but something along the lines of a little bit better than being a master of one. And I don't know. I kind of am torn because, you know, if you're a really, really amazing seamstress and, you know, you can make some bomb dresses and whatever, and, you know, all those kinds of fashion statements, then do you really need to venture into anything else if you make, you know, I don't know. I guess it's kind of based also on what's your quality of life expectation. You know, if being a master of one makes you the life that you want, then I don't see anything wrong with it. You don't have to be, I feel like also being versatile is a mindset. It's not necessarily a skill. You know, if you can adapt, that has nothing to do with your ability to do things, because just like when you go and apply for jobs you're not qualified for, it's really not about whether or not you know how to do the job. It's about whether or not you're willing to learn.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I feel like life and these Jane of all trades and master of none thing is kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah, like you said, like you could be a master of one, right? And like have this one really good thing, one thing that you're really, really good at, and like you love it and it fulfills you and you're able to live a happy, healthy, fulfilled life off of that one thing, right? But like you said, it's about mindset. So if something happens and like for some reason you're not able to do that anymore, if you're in a mindset of like, okay, well, like I know that I can do many things, so there's something else that I can go and master, right? Yeah. Instead of being like, well, that was the only thing I've ever done, and like, now what the fuck do I do?
Yeah. I really love, also, I don't remember what the woman's name is. I believe she's from, I don't want to misspeak, but she went to like an art school or whatever, and she was challenged with painting or creating a painting without using paint. And so she started using thread, and she makes these amazing fucking like portraits and whatever with just using thread. And it's insane how like her specialty was painting with paint.
Right. Yeah.
But then like this one now her specialty is using thread. It's crazy. You know, I think it's amazing how people, you know, can decide like I'm really, really good at this, but one day I just decided to try it. Not decided at that point, you know, with her specifically, she was challenged. But some people are really just like, well, I decided to start singing because I was tired of rapping.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like literally just making the decision. And it's crazy. I definitely am very much so like, I talk myself out of things. I had mentioned before, like I almost talked. This is something, this podcast.
Yeah.
This is something like, I almost talked myself. I was like, yeah, I'm probably not. Yeah. You know, it's a cool idea, theory, but I don't know. It's, you know, I was very much so, I also feel like I walk the tightrope of imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
You know, sometimes I'm like, I'm the shit. You know, like I can do anything. I'm queen of the world. You know, get the fuck out of my way. But then other times I'm like, damn, I'm really not qualified and I really don't think I can do that. And just like super anxious about making decisions. I think it's terrible. So I feel like being a master of one or a jack of all trades, again, is all about like whatever you believe you can do. You know, like if you believe you really, really just want to learn how to build things out of Legos and make a life out of that. Hey, if you were making buildings out of toothpicks before, fuck it. Change it up. Be a master of building Legos. You know, I think it's all about mindset. And it's a beautiful thing when you can pick and choose and, you know, you're not stuck with one thing because it's your life. And you can wake up tomorrow and decide that you want to be a hobbit. Go be the greatest hobbit you can be. I don't even know what hobbits do, but whatever they do, just go and do it.
And be great at it. Okay. Don't half-ass that. You be that hobbit. What the hell?
Sorry. Yeah.
So how did you, so you mentioned that like you're an artist, right? And you could label yourself as an artist. How did you, or if that's not how you label yourself, whatever, how you label yourself, how did you decide what you were going to sort of like focus on or master in, or what trades you were going to dive into?
You know, I wish I had a great answer for that. I'm really that person that's like, I'm just going to try it, you know, like, well, actually let me rewind, actually. So I have written poetry for like so long, maybe around like since 10 or 11-ish. I was like writing poetry, and like one of my aunts on my mom's side had been like published in a book, and it was just, to me, it was like so amazing, you know. And so I would just write, and you know, we moved around a lot, so when we were driving around in cars to different random places, I would write, not just like not in Arizona, you know, we would move to California and to Vegas, you know, long road trips. I would write, and so that kind of just became my thing. And I honestly, like, had I known earlier on in my life that like people really make a living out of being poets, I probably would have went down a different path, but it never occurred to me. Like the very first time I ever even realized you can like win awards was when we went to Cardinal Town, and I wrote that. I found the poem the other day. I wrote that random poem, and the teacher who just so happened to run whatever the poetry thing was, she was at the camp, and she said, you should submit this. And then I submitted it and I won, and it was like this big deal, not like a super big deal, but a big deal for like the school and people who wrote poetry.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then I didn't really do anything with poetry after that. I wrote still. I performed at some open mics when I was at ASU, but so that became my hobby, really, more so than anything, and how I process things. And I love performing, which I don't do anymore, obviously, because of the pandemic. So because I felt like maybe I started too late in the game, which is terrible, a terrible mindset. But I was like, yeah, I'm not really going to pursue anything. Now I'm like, I'm in a different place. But anyway.
Yeah, you're getting your shit together, getting your act right.
Getting my shit together. But I decided that, like, I'm just going to try anything creative, really. It was anything that involved being, like, doing things with my hands, painting. You know, when I was at the Boys and Girls Club, I was super, like, maybe way too much excited to decorate my room.
I miss that.
I know, that was, like, the best thing ever. And then, you know, I would decorate, like, I decorated my room for Martin Luther King Day. You know, just all these random ass.
Yeah, super side note, like working in like youth development and working at like schools is the best shit ever because you get to decorate for no fucking reason.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Door decorating contests and like decorating your office is like my favorite fucking sport.
Yes. I remember there was a blue door contest for Boys and Girls Club and I painted and drew fucking SpongeBob SquarePants and Patrick and the Bikini Bottom on one of my, like, on the gym doors in my teen center, and it was like, I was so sad I won for our club, but they didn't pick me for whatever. I'm not bitter.
I went to the Boys and Girls Club dressed up as the game Operation before.
Oh yeah,
you remember that? All right, sorry, that was super. I led you down a rabbit hole. I apologize.
No, yeah. So anyways, yeah, and so now, like, I'm kind of good at work. I also decided, like, I'm just going to really be good at whatever my job is at work. You know, like, I want to try and be the best. And I don't know if that sounds like a robot or not, but I mean, I work for an arts organization. So, and I manage our social media account. So it's like, I want to try and be the best social media manager that this side of Tempe has seen. I don't know, that sounds really corny. But yeah, so that's kind of how, and then, you know, I just pick random shit up. Like I did macrame during the pandemic. I really like it. Refurbished my desk. I really like that. It's just whatever brings me happiness. I'm like, I'm just going to do that for a while and go down these binges.
Yeah.
Healthy binges, I would say, because they're all art, and see what happens after that. So how did you decide for yourself?
I feel like I guess similar to you, I really kind of just went with the flow. Like, you know, in high school, I was very involved. I was in student council. I was in clubs. I was in sports. I was doing all this shit. I was always in somebody's fucking business, clearly doing something. Right. And so, for some reason, when I was about to graduate, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go be a business major, even though that didn't make no goddamn sense. Right.
You were in DECA.
I was in DECA. Oh, I was in FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But even that didn't even, like, it made sense, but I feel like I was trying to make something fit into it, right? Like, at the core, it was always like, I really want to help people, and so, like, it was more so wanted to go into, like, community organizing for businesses, which didn't make any sense. And so realizing that, like, community organizing, grassroots organizing, nonprofit was, like, what made more sense, right?
Yeah.
But like, again, that felt natural because all the stuff that I was doing felt like stuff that I was already doing in high school or like in student council or in those clubs that I was in those positions that I was in those clubs. So kind of just like building off of that. And like, I realized that like when I was doing stuff, that I didn't want to do, it just felt forced. And like in it feeling forced, it was like super draining and like just unappealing. Like, I don't want to do this shit. Like, I don't want to do this shit. And so like, I just stopped doing all the things that like, I honestly didn't want to fucking do. Like, I just don't want to do it anymore. And so focus on like what felt good to do. And like, if feels really great to go and put together programming for kids because kids are fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels really great to support parents because parents are really fucking cool too. And parents are what makes really dope kids. So it feels good doing those things. And it also came naturally. So like, it didn't take any more excess energy out of me. And it also didn't leave any negative feelings. Right. And so in a way, like it was easy for me to like refill myself and go back to that space because it was energy that I was already prepared to give up.
Right.
Right. And like, I also realized like I'm that way when it comes to like hobbies, relationships, professional life, and like friendships, like anything that like is draining, like I'm eventually going to be like, no, just no, like I can't, like it's too hard. And like realizing that like, it does not have to be hard. And so just thinking about things that make me feel good, which is so crazy going back to that guitar thing, because like, in the fourth grade is like, I think that's when I moved to Glendale. I don't know. But I remember my like best friend in the fourth grade who I still communicate with her a little bit. She used to play the violin and I was like so in awe of her. Like she was so fucking good at the goddamn violin. And so like she kind of inspired me to want to play the guitar. Yeah. And at that time, I just couldn't play guitar. Couldn't afford to play guitar. That was just the life that I was living, right? Like my childhood. So I like then just like instead of like just being honest with myself about like, you know, like this probably isn't the best time to play guitar because like your family doesn't need to buy you a guitar right now. Like we can't do that or whatever. Yeah. I would just be like, I don't really want to play guitar anyway. And like for so long, I was like telling myself that I didn't want to play guitar when like this whole entire time in my whole life, and now I'm at this big ass age of 28, I really want to play the goddamn guitar. And I just been shying away from it forever for no reason. So I'm buying myself a guitar, y'all. And it's going to happen. I'm going to be a Jane of another trade. What'd you say?
The Guitar Center probably has a good deal right now too.
Yeah, it's gonna be me, my guitar, and YouTube University.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, every time I've gone to places that like we've gone, maybe there was a piano when we went to New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
There was a piano in the room that I went to when I went back last year too. And whenever we have downtime, I pull up YouTube. I'm like, let me just play, because I used to play. Right, back when I was like 4th, 5th grade or whatever. And I still remember a little bit. I still got it. You know, Fury Lease, I can play that. If you don't know,
that's dope. I don't know anything about any of that shit. Like, I don't know how to read music. I don't know anything about anything. So I'm really going to be starting from scratch here. But it's going to be great, and I'm going to learn something.
Yeah, and you know what? Since you, if you learn how to read guitar music, they use the same keys as piano music, so you know how to read piano sheet music too.
I feel really excited about myself because, I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything, but like I was actually pretty good at Guitar Hero in high school, and I don't know if that counts for anything.
Yeah, but that was the shit. I love playing that. Yeah.
Right. If you're listening and you really want to gift me, if someone gives me Guitar Hero on like, first of all, if I could get for me, you, Desiree and Anna in a room together playing Michael Jackson, the dance experience game.
Oh my God.
That would be so fucking hilarious. And then jump on Guitar Hero, because I have a feeling that it would be the same energy. That would be hilarious. Because we used to fuck that game up.
That was fun.
That's another Christmas memory, I feel like. that was Christmas time.
Yeah, I think so.
Was it Christmas?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
It was a time. But we used to be on that game for
yeah, those are good times. I used to fuck that shit up.
Yeah.
I think, that's the last question for that section. Unless you have anything else you want to add to what made you decide your mastery. And if not,
it really was like, keep it simple. What feels good? And like, I think like like, because it's not like always just as simple as like what feels good, right? Like for me, like it's like what feels good, but also isn't going to harm other people. Because like stuff that could feel good to you might also be like really shitty for other people. And like, personally, I believe that we all have like a social responsibility to each other to not be shitty people. And so like, if you think ahead of like what you're about to do or say whatever, and that shit is just not, if it's going to be harmful to somebody, you probably just shouldn't do it. Right. And so like, that's another thing that like, he helps me figure out what I'm going to be doing, like what my trades are going to be, or like what I'm going to focus my energy on. It's like, does it feel good to me, but does it also not harm people? It doesn't have to feel good or feel as good to other people, but it also doesn't have to harm them.
Right. Like if I wrote a poem about, I did write a poem actually. And it was called Nobody's Favorite Nigga. And it was basically about people like, don't ask me about my hair. You don't care how long it takes when I get braids. Like, you can't rap along with songs that say the N-word. No. You know, that might not make everybody feel good because maybe they want to do those things. But I don't care because I'm telling you for a reason, you know? So I definitely think that everything that you do, you know, things are controversial, but I also feel like,
right. But at the same time, them not being able to do those things is not going to hurt them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, yes, snaps to all of that. Now we'll go ahead and move forward. Let us know also, though, what do you think that you are? Are you a Jane of all trades? Are you a master of one? I think they're both beautiful. You're a human being doing whatever you love, however you're doing it. Let us know. I think it's amazing to hear from other creatives. And not even if you're not a creative, business people, whatever. Let us know. We want to hear. And
yeah. And of course, our cause or what we're raising awareness for this month, all December, is, supporting and highlighting, shouting out Black businesses. And we've been doing that on our Instagram. So if you aren't following us already, you should go ahead and follow us at the Ari and Sid Show on Instagram. And so in the last couple of weeks, I did shout out one of the places or businesses I shouted out was Sass Beauty. I recently won like a self-care box on there, which was really cute. It came with like it was a journal. There was yoni soap, body scrub, face scrub, like a stress ball, which was really cute. It says like, I can, I will. Body butter and rose oil. I feel like there's something else in there, but it was like really cute and everything smells really good. The butter is like super thick and creamy. I fucking love it. It smells really great. And they're a Black owned business. You can give them some support. You can follow them on Instagram at Sass Beauty. There are a few underscores, so we will leave that in the show notes, and we will also put that on our Instagram. So if you follow us on Instagram, we'll tag them and you can follow them as well.
Yeah.
Another Black owned business I wanted to shout out this week. My mommy win for this week was I for the first time did Bantu knots in Amina's hair.
Yes.
So shout out to Reagan Sinai. They are a homemade, natural and organic hair and skincare line specifically for babies and kids. I've been using their products on Amina's hair since she was like 3 months old, and her hair is really healthy. It's thick. It's moisturized, growing like fucking crazy. So now I need to learn how to like braid and things like that. So if anyone wants to support me and help me in that endeavor, that'd be great. But also like on her skin, because Amina does have a few like dry spots, and their mango butter is really good for her skin, and her skin loves it. So really great for kids who like have dry skin or even eczema. I think the woman who created the business, she did it with her daughter, whose name is Reagan. I think Reagan may have had like eczema or like dry skin or cradle cap or something. And that's what inspired them to create the line. So really great products. They're awesome. So yeah, you can check them out on Instagram as well at Reagan Sinai. Of course, we'll leave that in the show notes, and we'll tag them on our Instagram.
Dope. Makes me want to go get some. I know you said it for babies and kids, but
no, I use the oil on my hair. Like
Oh,
I
nice.
use the mango butter. Like yeah. And the shampoo is like African black soap shampoo. So like it's a clarifying shampoo. It's just great products
Yeah.
all around. All around. Also I don't know if you know of a place, but I need I'm in the looks for a black owned company or business that sells like yearly planners.
I thought I sent you one.
It's
called oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll send you one.
Well, send
we'll
it
put
to
it in
me
the
again.
show notes as well once I remember the name of it. But it's cute. It's actually,
you have one?
I have a 30-day one, and
I feel like you definitely told me about it. I'd be forgetting.
yeah.
But next time you tell me about it, we're gonna tag it so we'll never forget.
It's called Alter Planning Co. And this one is a 30-day one. I just got it on. I was supporting them. It had a sale.
That's right.
It's $5. So, but they have like a bunch of different ones. I'm sure they're gonna have the 2021 year now, but they're black owned. They have a bunch of different types of calendar planner books. So I definitely think they would be a good fit for you.
Okay, cool. And if y'all know of any black owned businesses that you want us to highlight, or that you shop with and that you really love and you want to support, tag us on Instagram, at the Ari and Sid Show, or send it to us through a DM. Do something, let us know so that we can get connected as well.
Yeah, we hope y'all send us some good shit because we're looking for it.
Yeah, and we're in the mood to spend money sometimes.
I know.
You're like, I want to spend money. Where do I spend money today? Yeah. But today, to close out, we don't have one quote, but we did want to share some of what I guess we would consider some of the best advice that we've received, or maybe a favorite quote. But I think I figured out some advice that I want to hold near and dear to me. Do you have a piece?
I do, and it's crazy because this is something that I think about not way too often, but I think about it often because it's something, and I don't know if your mom told me directly or if you told me that your mom told you to tell me. I know that sounded weird, but back whenever in college, there was a point in time where family goes through some things. People need money and help and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And there was a point in time where I was struggling to make decisions because I don't want to make somebody feel like they're out here by themselves. But I also want to be able to eat, Mm-hmm. So one thing that I just remember hearing from you, whether via your mom or maybe it was from you, I don't know. But it was, you can't help somebody build their house by taking bricks from your own. Mm. And it's something that I just whenever I'm feeling guilty for not being able to help somebody, or maybe not even not being able, maybe I just I don't feel like the intention is there to be good. I just remind myself well, I'm also trying to build something. And if I just keep giving away my bricks, then I'm not going to have anything left. And so then I'm going to need to go and borrow yours, which is redundant. So that's something that I've held dear and true. And I just remember you telling me that. So
damn, that's deep. That's probably was something my mom said. Damn, I don't even remember it. So it just flew by her own child. Back her best friend in the head. One of us heard it.
I know, right?
Shout out to my mom. I love her. That's really that's real though. I feel like my advice is kind of similar to that then, because the best piece of advice that I received, and I feel like more than one person has told me this, but the most recent time I've heard it was from my business mentor, and it's the saying or the advice is the way you treat yourself sets the standard for the way other folks treat you, right? Business wise, when you're setting your prices, personal life, when you're setting your boundaries, however you treat yourself or however however you treat yourself, that's giving other people permission to treat you the same way. So if you don't value yourself, if you lowball yourself, if you put other people in front of you, then everybody else is going to follow suit and do that same shit.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard though. That's so hard to like think about when you like want to, well, I mean, you think that you're helping other people by doing it, but really like you're harming them because you're giving them unrealistic boundaries because you know you don't like that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I know I don't want you this close, but to help you, I'm gonna let you get this close to me, which is only gonna harm. Like, so like it's not helping anybody at the end of the day, basically. So
yeah, I definitely agree. And like this topic can be its own episode like in itself. And I feel like it's amazing how small moments, like small conversations, like just they're incremental in the like your lifespan, but they really like follow you and you hold on to them. And just like you didn't remember that mine, the one that I shared, but like it's just those small things that people tell you and remind you, and they're amazing how like you can just really use them as a foundation to whatever you're building. So that's amazing. Thanks for sharing yours.
Yeah, thanks for sharing yours. Well, all right, folks, we're going to let you get out of here. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Ari and Sid show. We are forever friends, and this is the shit we care about. And we'll see you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.